Welcome everyone to Henrico Recreation and Parks and today's December Yoga Series edition, How to Relax and Renew Through Restorative Yoga. I'm Debbie Nolan and I'm really happy you're here today. And accompanying me today in this restorative journey is
Anna Trump.
and we'll be using a variety of different props in restorative yoga. So you might say, what is different from your style of restorative yoga as opposed to yin yoga? Well, in yin yoga, there's always a certain amount of dynamic energy going on, even though it's a passive form of yoga. There's still that energy of activating the muscles and looking for sensation in the pose. In restorative yoga, no muscle engagement. Totally passive. Now, you want to work towards what the feel is to let go. By the time you're viewing this, you've made it through Thanksgiving, you've made it through your holiday season. So now it's time to relax and renew before you start to set your intentions for the new year. So you'll need a few things around your home to start this practice. So if you have a chair, we happen to have a folding chair because of the site we're at, but you could use a kitchen chair, that type of thing. So also, you need a beach towel or a yoga mat. You also may want some pillows because this is all about supporting the body so that, again, you can totally relax and let go in the poses because that's where the revive and the rejuvenate happens. So the mind also will want to relax in this pose. Now, let me say that relax is different from sleep. So if you catch yourself falling asleep, bring yourself back. You might jerk or something. You know, the body does that involuntary thing. So it's normal to fall asleep. If you fall asleep, it's just as relaxing to be there. You needed it. So come back to the video, do it again, when you can get the full benefit. If you need sleep, you need sleep. And it is the end of that season. So keep that in mind. Do what's beneficial for your body. You may also want a blanket. This is what encourages that falling asleep. You want to be very comfortable. So comfortable clothes. Quiet area in your home. Good. Go ahead and gather your tools. Pause if you need to, and we'll start in a moment. So have everything around. We're going to start with the chair. So have your chair and have your other tools around. There's nothing wrong with being active in between setting up for each pose because remember, in restorative, it's about the setup in the pose. So once we've set everything up, then you work towards letting everything melt, everything soften. Now, are you going to find the busyness in your mind? Yes. So let's focus on our breath. We'll talk a little bit about Yoga Nidra in here, which is yoga sleep, and we'll talk about that as we move further along in our practice, which is a complementary exercise that flows with restorative yoga. So our first pose today is going to be doing cross-legged pose with the chair. So if it's kind of cool in your room, you can always put your blanket over your shoulders. If you've got a shawl or something like that, you can put that over your shoulders too if you like. Now remember that this is a passive activity, so you don't want to feel cold. You want to keep your socks on if your feet get cold, that sort of thing. So all of those things factor into the benefits that you're going to get in letting go of those things that are still creating stressors in your life. So dukkha. Dukkha is creating your own misery. So here you want to allow yourself the opportunity to let go. Are you going to be the water that flows around the rock, or are you going to stay the rock right there and be stuck? So let's work in the direction of unsticking any remaining touch points, stress, and just enter the new year with positive energy and open to opportunities. So let's find our chair. We'll put it to the side. It's always helpful if you put it on your mat so it doesn't slide. because it is going to be supporting. So this is easy cross-legged pose. Good. Now, if this pose is not comfortable for you, you can put your feet in butterfly, or Baddha Konasana, and you can also stretch your legs out all the way on both sides. So I'm going to stretch out my legs all the way. Anna's in easy cross-legged pose, I think. So here, you want to move far enough forward that you can place your arms on top of the chair and then put your forehead on top of your stacked arms. Now, it helps if you stack your arms in fire log position, which is one right on top of the other, and then put your forehead right on top of the top arm, right here where your third eye is. So we start here. Good. Lean forward towards the chair rather than away. So as you're breathing, let's bring our awareness to our breath right here. So inhaling and exhaling, find the breath rhythm for you today, your natural breath. And as you inhale and exhale, give yourself the opportunity to calm and be present. Now have a sensation of tension flowing down your back and into the body. Let the chair support you and just feel very grounded in this pose. Direct the flow of your breath to the back of the rib cage. Have the sensation of it flowing in through your nose, down the back of your throat, and all the way into the very base of your lungs. Then notice the same reverse action to allow yourself to let go of any toxins or negativities that may have built up in the body on the exhalation. Take a minute and check in with the state of you. Look for the places that need special nurturing. Just look for the areas that need that special attention. Perhaps you inhale any surface tension in, and you exhale, give yourself permission to let it go so that you start to feel as if you're softening throughout your entire body. You're using natural breath as it flows in and out. And just be aware of everywhere where you feel your body touching the mat and noticing that settling, grounded sensation. Now, especially in restorative, if your mind starts to wander, bring your attention back to your breath. And here we're just using equal breath, equal inhale, equal exhale. So the goal in each pose is to find that place where we can be here and be still. Now you may find that your mind or your body might fight you on it a bit. No reason to fight. Just don't stay there quite as long. Move on to a different area. Make adjustments for how your mind has been distracted by busy things going on, and make allowances for your body and what it's experienced through life as well. Good, so we slowly lift our head back up. Now each of these poses, you'd want to hold them for a period of time. And I say that as a very nebulous thing because you know how long you need to hold them. So if you've got like a half an hour to spend, and you have 5 poses, well, you would use about 5 minutes per each one. So we flow up from here. And the next one that we're going to do is supported child's. And so in this one, we're just going to take our chair, and Anna and I will just lift it to our side. So just move it over to your side out of the way. So I'm going to move mine over here. Good. So we're doing real time just like you would too. So you just have to move your toys around. So next we take our pillows. So hopefully you've collected a couple pillows because we want to be supported in these things. Now my particular pillows are kind of flattened, so I'm going to take each of them and lay one on top of the other. Good. You know your pillows. So what we're going to do is supported child's pose. So the first thing you want to do is come to your hands and knees after you get your props. Good. And you open your knees really wide. Now, you may also want your block to put your head on. So that just depends on you. So the getting in position is the most effort that you're going to do. So you're going, okay, I'm getting my heart rate up here. All right, so here we are. So once you're in position, the knees open wide. So you have, depending on the height of your pillows, like I can stack my arms and put my forehead on top. My knees are open wide, and my body's supported on the pillows themselves. Now you may find that you have cushions in your couch or something that work better for you, or you might even have bolsters at home, and if you do, great. So you can also use a block to put your forehead on, but here do have your forehead, the block right underneath your forehead. It would rest just above where your sunglasses would rest. Now as far as your feet, your big toes can touch in back. Here, think about your knees being wider so your torso can relax down inside. Now, in this pose, you're going to feel the knees open up a little wider over time. And that's okay. If your feet move around, no worries. But find stillness in the pose. So make sure you can breathe in the position you're in. And then the knees open wide. You may even find you want to pull a blanket up over your back. So these are all things. It helps if you have somebody you're practicing with so that they can drape your back. But if you don't have that and you're plenty warm, don't worry. Remember, you can always keep your socks on and so forth, whatever you need to stay warm and comfortable. So here, perhaps as you're moving into the pose, you first just do a scan, a mental scan, and you touch base with where the pose has you at this moment. So am I feeling equally balanced in the pose? Am I feeling like there's more stress on one side than the other, or more pressure in the pose? But once you're in place, literally let go. You may shift a little bit. Normal. Now here, this belly down version of supported child. The pillows themselves help massage your internal organs, help with the circulation, and with your digestive tract as well. So once again, we get that added benefit. Here, just as we breathe in and out, notice the surface tension on the back of your body. Relax the space in between your shoulder blades. Good, and here literally have a sensation of, perhaps you think in two different ways. Perhaps you think of being grounded here, so perhaps maybe sinking down, melting down, or perhaps you have a sensation of floating. Personally, I usually have a sensation of sinking and then floating. So allowing yourself to just be. Now the thing that's very active is allowing yourself to take your mind and connect with the breath. Just explore what you're feeling from right to left and left to right. Noticing the quality of your breath. Here, maybe we use breath retention. Maybe we inhale in and pause, and then exhale out and pause. So a pause at the top and bottom of the breath. Good, so always noticing where you may feel tension. Inhale it in, collect it up, and then exhale, totally relax, totally release. Flip the switch off. Very nice. Now our next pose that follows this one, which is supported child's again, is a rotated supported child's or a twisted one. So what we're going to do is just lift the head back up. Then come back up onto our elbows for a moment. So you want to be supported by your elbows here. Draw your knees together and let's draw our knees towards the right side. So you're going to shift onto that right hip. So come back up on the pillow, bring your knees to the side, and then you're going to come back down, face down again. So think about lining your knees up. So as you line your knees up, think about them being stacked. And that's just so that they're supported, your hips are parallel. Good, so now turn, and if you need to lift up and reposition your pillows, do so. Because again, the object is to be where you can just be still. Good. Excellent. So, supported rotated child. Good, and just placing your head in the most effective spot. Good. Now you can also, in this pose, depending on how you have your arms, you can also relax the arms out, framing the brick, if you like, if you're using the block. Good. You can also just slide your elbows back a little bit. Good. There you go. And so you have those options on the different ways to interpret the pose for you. Good. So as we're in these poses, of course, having a firmer bolster or a firmer pillow is very helpful, but we don't always have access to those. So the big thing here is the rotation in the middle of your body. You want to totally soften there and just allow yourself to feel. Now your hips are stacked, your knees are stacked. You may find that you want to stretch your legs out at a certain point and just straighten the legs all the way out so your body is in an L shape. So that's also an option for you here in this pose as well. So you would be here, again, however long that your body needs for you to be here. And again, it depends on the length of your overall practice, that your time that you're going to dedicate that day for your practice. Very nice. So again, you would rotate to the opposite side on this one. So Anna, if you'll lift up on your elbows, good, and then just shift your knees the other way. Perfect. Good, and reposition your pillows. Same pose, just on the opposite side. So to get the benefit, you need to rotate in both directions. So as we move into that pose in that direction, we just pause again and just allow yourself to, again, perhaps you stretch your arms a little further away from your body this time. Good. And just let the arms relax in that position. So different places to be. So noticing always when you're in the pose, if the mind starts to get active again, you focus back on the breath. So let's come back to that breath retention. So a big inhale in, and then pause, and then a big exhale out, and pause. And then just notice the flow of the breath as it rises and then as it falls. So it's almost like a really deep breath that you'll hear your partner sometimes have as they inhale in sleep and exhale minus the snore. So big inhale and a big exhale with that pause. Good. So once again, the object is feeling the sensation of the breath flowing through your body. Now, when you're in these poses, if the busyness bubbles to the surface or anything that's been on your mind, you can actually ponder it during this time period, but just almost dispassionately or taking a third-person viewpoint. So a step back. So perhaps something, for instance, so perhaps something happens and in your mind you still don't know why you exactly reacted that particular way. So perhaps your step back is you think about the situation and then you breathe on it for a few moments. And then you take a step back. Well, what was it that was the trigger to that situation? Was it this, or was it my reaction to this, or what was it? So that kind of pondering, third person, taking a step back and looking with that mental clarity that opening will give you here. But most of the time we just need the quiet. So you can approach either way. Both ways beneficial. So as you're here, we want to give yourself the opportunity to just release and be. So be inside, mentally, physically, working from the inside out. So as we get ready to come out of this pose, we're going to move into reclining butterfly or reclining bound angle pose. So in that, Anna's going to flow up. We're going to take our pillows now, and this also works really well if you want to stack your pillows up against your couch so that you kind of have a diagonal shelf from them. So that works really well because it gives you something solid to angle up against. So here we're going to take our pillows and we're going to round them up so that when you recline, your shoulders are elevated somewhat. So with these pillows, you're going to have to hold on to them. At least I am. So that's why I was saying if you put them up against your couch, that will probably work a little bit better for you. Good. So once you're in place, once you feel it, and if the special part about this is that once again, you want to make sure that you're in a spot where you can be here for a few moments. So you may even want to have your blanket over you now. You can take your block here because we don't have the back of the couch to line our head up against, but you can do one of two things. You can stack your head on the block, good, or you can just let your head relax back. Now I think I'm going to use the block because of the way my pillows are arranged. So first thing, bend your knees, lift your bottom up, shift it a little bit side to side. Good. Now when you feel settled on the pillows rather, open your knees up and let your feet come together. Now, in traditional butterfly, we're really pushing our feet together, pushing the big toes together. Relax that. Probably just the outside edge of your foot will be touching. Now, one other thing that you can do here is open your arms out to the sides. Good. Let your elbows relax down so that you're getting a passive stretch across the chest, down into the armpits. Good. So another couple things to think about. If your knees are elevated, take a couple yoga blocks or pillows, other pillows you may have, and place them beneath your knees so your knees are supported. Because again, we don't want to consciously be holding anything in restorative. You want to let go. Good. So your hips may not allow your knees to drop down a long way. So feel free to again, put the pillows underneath your knees. Also, feel free to put the blanket over you. Good. So as you're breathing in and out here, let's think about the three-part breath, because we're really open here. So a big inhale in, we pause 3 times, exhaling and inhaling. So big inhale, exhale, and exhale. Now let's inhale in 3 times. And exhale out 3 times. And then continuing with that breath, remembering its object is to expand your lung capacity. And what better way to do it here, where we're totally open and supportive. Good, so continuing with that breath pattern for another few moments, just noticing how the body starts to respond to each of those pauses. Usually with the exhales on each of them, we start to really soften. It's almost as if your body's becoming more pliable. Now in restorative yoga, could you take 1 or 2 of these poses and use them for your entire practice? Yes. Perhaps you even take your hands and spread them wide on your rib cage and just feel the breath here. Feel the expansion. Good, so much like yin, the longer that you're in the pose, totally relaxed, the more release you feel in the pose itself. Good, so breathing in, breathing out. Good, if you find after a period of time, butterfly, you want to change your leg position, you can always bring the knees in and have the thighs touch each other with the feet themselves wider. Good, so wherever we are in our practice now, let's go ahead and bring our knees back together. Good, and then we're just going to turn to one side or the other and come back upright. So you're basically going to gently flow off your pillows or your bolsters and just come up on the elbow on the side. Good, and once you do that, good, now we're going to think about legs up the wall pose. Good, so you'll want to find a space where you can literally put your legs up the wall. So for our purposes here in the studio, we don't have a solid wall behind our screen behind us. So we're going to use legs up, supported legs up the wall. So as Anna moves towards the back area, she's going to sit her bottom on her pillow. Good, and as she does that, turn the side of the body to the screen, lay down and float her legs up. Good, so you can see here she's already moved in that position. Good, so her legs are up the wall. So I'm going to flow into the same position, but I'm not going to have my legs up the imaginary wall. Now you can have the pillow underneath your hips for that extra support, or you can slip your hands under there if you have less props. So either way works. So I myself, I'm going to lift my legs up. Now another thing that you can do, and I'll just pull this chair over here just to show you, is we're going to use the chair again in a moment. You can also use this chair to give you a tactile sensation so that you know about have your legs partially supported. So again, you bring your body to the wall. You're going to lean back and float your legs up. Now once you do that, now I'm just moving my microphone. Good, all right. So here, same position, now, but I'm going to float my legs up. So if you come in really close to the chair, you can have the back edge of the chair touching the back of your legs. So here, notice that as you breathe in and out, shoulders are out, you can turn your arms so that the inside arm is up. So we're breathing in and out. Now if you find this fatiguing and you're using the chair, you can always put your feet down. But the legs up the wall, your legs are actually supported by the wall proper. So Light on Yoga dedicates about 5 pages to legs up the wall pose benefits. In yogic times, they believe that this reversed the blood flow in the body. In modern times, we know that the legs up the wall position helps to dissipate delayed onset soreness that we get from exercise. So like when you finish cardio and the people say keep walking around so that you don't build up lactic acid in the legs. So this helps us dispel that. So also if you get swelling in your ankles, that sort of thing, this works very, very, very well for that. So your legs up the wall, breathing in. You can open the legs wider if you like against the wall. You can actually put your feet in butterfly against the wall. Good, or the legs can just be straight up. Good, so in this pose, just have the sensation. You're going to know that you've been in the pose long enough when your feet start feeling cool. Good, and again, if you're using the chair, you can float your feet down if you like. You can also do one leg at a time as well. Good, so you have those different options available to you depending on where you're at in your practice. So do switch to the other leg if you're doing one leg. So the big piece on legs up the wall pose is have your bottom actually touching the wall so that the wall fully supports your legs. Good. Many, many benefits here because the circulation of the lengthening of the legs helps dissipate any soreness that you have in them, so this is a perfect pose. The wall supports you, you're able to totally release in this position. Good, so finding whatever leg position works for you and be there. Good. So as you're breathing in and out here, perhaps you even envision a waterfall, and the waterfall itself is flowing off your toes and down to your navel. And you're floating in that water, and the water is just very nurturing. And the sound is muffled by the fact that your ears are beneath the water. So just having that sensation. Good, so Anna, if you'll float your legs down off the wall and then join me with the chair, we'll come into supported chair. Good, so I'm already here, so Anna's going to join us. And so you want to slide the chair up so that the seat is facing you and your toes are touching the back of the chair. So you might have to get ambidextrous with your feet here. Ambidextrous, and not sure what the word is for that. So legs are up on the chair. So the toes touch the back of the seat. Good. And once again, this is also a really good pose to take away a lot of tension that you may have in the legs. Good. Arms themselves. The arms can just be out from the body. You can come back to your breathing, hands wide. You can put a hand on your chest, hand just below your breastbone. And again, follow the full breath so that equal inhale, equal exhale. Good. So you can experiment with what you're feeling with your breath if you're using different breath practices here. Hands can be here spread wide. You can feel the breath in the rib cage. Good. Now, one thing you want to make sure of is that your nose is the highest point on your face. Oftentimes, we're very tight in our shoulders, and our chin will be up here like this. So the chin's higher than the nose, anything else. So imagine you put your fingertip right here on your chin and just let the chin come down towards your chest, lift your head up, let the head relax back, and then just let the chin relax. So now you brought the nose into alignment, and you've taken some of the pressure off of those cervical vertebrae, which were very small and delicate. Good. Also, if you're still feeling tight in the shoulders, you can also bring both hands, behind your head and do that motion as well. That's an opportunity. So something a little different there. Good. Or you can do one side and then the other. So different arm positions. There's opportunity for opening and for switching or rejuvenating in certain areas. You know, letting go, giving yourself the opportunity to create space. You know, we get an opportunity to create space within our homes as we pack away from the holidays and get ready to greet the new year. Usually we're looking for opportunities and times to create new intentions and moving forward. So here we're doing the same thing within our body. We've been enjoying all of the holiday season and what it brings in to offer for us. So now let's take that joy and carry it forward in the new year. Now, perhaps in your setup in your room, you may be able to put your legs up on your couch the same way we're using a chair. So even the space that you're using for your practice, you may not even need the chair. You can use your couch or even your chair, reclining chair, whatever. Same thing. So just be adaptive in your space. You've got a lot of opportunities of the way you can express without having to have a lot of props. Or toys, as we like to say. Very, very nice. So we pause here. Good. And to exit the chair, the easiest way to do it is to just flow onto your side. So bring the leg down. I'm just going to go to the left side of my chair and bring the leg down. And I'm going to end up on my side. So on the side, I'm going to use my bottom arm for a pillow right here. Good. And then I'm going to allow myself to just be in the side lying position. So you can use your bottom arm pillow right here. You can put the blanket over top of you. Good. And right now, just allow yourself to be right here. So this is the side lying version of resting pose, Shavasana. So it's just as beneficial as being on the back. But it also gives you that sense of nurturing, so you can allow the legs to just be relaxed. Good. Notice if you're holding tight in your hip area. Good, and just give yourself the opportunity to be here, be still. And breathe in and out. So ideally with this particular pose, you'd want to be on both sides. So you would start on one side, and then you'd flow to the other side. So we're only going to do the one side here today because we're going to flow to our back so that I can introduce a little bit of Yoga Nidra to you. So we're going to go ahead and flow to our back. Good. I'm going to sit up. Good. And just move your chair out of the way. Good. And as you flow to your back, you may find that you want to cover up, so you might want your blanket. Maybe not. It just depends. Good. But here, come into a relaxed position. So I find that putting the blanket over me here works really well. So here, just take mine because it's right here. Okay. Good. So I know this one's mine because it has my name on it. My niece gave me that. Good. Yes, I did get that for Christmas, as a matter of fact. So here, go ahead and let the legs relax. Allow your arms to just be relaxed beside your body. You can literally almost cocoon in this particular pose. You can have the blanket up around your neck, around your ears. Good. And so first thing, just closing your eyes and just being in this moment. So as you close your eyes, allow yourself to just be blank. Easier said than done sometimes, right? So focus on your breath. Relax all of the muscles in your face. The eyebrows, the hair on your head, the eyelids, the eyes behind the eyelids, the right nostril, the left nostril, the tongue in the mouth, forehead smooth, each ear relaxed. The tongue soft in the mouth. Now noticing in your body the flow of the breath, flowing in through your nose and out through your nose. Then be aware of all the places that your body is in contact with the mat and with the earth. Feel the solidity and the groundedness of being supported and lifted up. Be aware of the right side of your body. Flowing down the right side of your neck and into the shoulder. From the shoulder to the elbow, to the wrist, to the palm of your hand, to all four fingers and your thumb. And then flowing back to the shoulder. Flowing down the right side of your rib cage and being aware of the collarbone, the ribs, and the rise and fall of each of the ribs as you breathe. Be aware of the flowing down to your hip. And just notice the muscles, the hip, be aware. The large thigh bone, your knee, your ankle, the top of your foot, the sole of your foot, all your toes, and then flowing back up that side of the body, the calf where it touches the mat, the back of your thigh, the front of your thigh, and then flows down your opposite leg. Good, and again, the back of the thigh, the calf, the sole of your foot, all of the toes, your ankle, your shin bone, your knee, your thigh, your hip. And then flowing up the pelvis, up the rib cage, to the collarbone and to the shoulder. To the elbow, to the wrist, to the palm of your hand, to all fingers and thumb. Taking a moment to send a thought of gratitude out to your hands and to your feet, to how they help you through your journey of life every day. And as you're breathing, just having that sense of being buoyed up, just like floating in water, lifted up by each breath. Leaving behind the things that aren't necessary and embracing the things that are. And knowing that each thing in life has its place. It's not a test, it's not a trial, it's life. So as we prepare to move forward into a new year and the new possibilities it brings, let us be open and let us be sharing of that positive energy, positive opportunities, knowing that sometimes we might go the other way, but hey, overall, good. Wonderful. So as we start to flow back out of deep release, perhaps we just gently move our fingers and maybe gently move our toes. And maybe we yawn, wrinkle our nose up, wiggle our ears, and just kind of reconnect with the external world. Good, and then just turn to the right side and just pause there for a moment. So just go ahead and comfortably use your bottom arm for a pillow again and just flow to that side. Traditionally, the right side is the side where your heart is more focused. So give yourself an opportunity to appreciate or send gratitude out to the very first person, place, or thing that your life just would not be the same without. And how you look forward to embracing the new year in appreciation together. Good, and then slowly, slowly, helping yourself back up to seated position, ever so slowly, really slowly. Good, and as you give yourself an opportunity to transition back into the real world, remember, if you find benefit and value from these different opportunities that we offer through Henrico Recreation and Parks, be sure and go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Be sure and click on the bell, because then you know something new has been offered up for all ages, activities, especially during the month of December and moving throughout the new year. All kinds of exciting things. Be sure and check out our webpage and all the social media outlets. Thank you for joining us today, and we seal our practice today. The light that shines within all of us, we share, it motivates, it lifts us all up. So, thank you for letting me lead that practice today. Namaste.